Hi fans, this is Ray from Split Decision Boxing. It's been a long time since I've done a video, and I apologise for that. So I thought I'd do a very quick, short one, just to get a video back out there and give some of you boxing fans just a little something to think about. Reasons for me not doing a video for so long, obviously with COVID going on and everything else. There's been a lot going on in my life, sort of behind the scenes, which has sort of made it fairly difficult for me to do one. But anyway, that aside, I'm back hopefully, and I should start putting out more regular videos on the wonderful sport that is boxing. So I hope you like this video, and if you do, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and comment by all means. As it's been so long, there's been so much news and content that's gone on over the last year, or however long it is since I last did a video in the boxing world. Far too much for me to do all on one video now. So what I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to just talk about probably the most relevant story as far as I'm concerned in the boxing world, and that is the situation with Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, where they're at with you know, the non-fight that now is, that was agreed and then not agreed, and so on, and both respective fighters new opponents. So the situation was, obviously, there was a date and a time that was supposed to have been, well, it was almost going to be confirmed for Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury, and that was suddenly cancelled and changed because Deontay Wilder had activated his arbitration clause, which basically meant that the only way that Fury would be able to fight Joshua would be to basically pay Wilder a substantial, should I say, amount of money, and for Wilder to agree to step aside, and that was something that Wilder said he wouldn't do. So the Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight was off. That's caused lots and lots of hate towards each other on social media, with Anthony Joshua calling Fury a fraud and a fake, and, you know, selling out and everything else, and Fury coming back and calling Anthony Joshua lots of names and saying he had no choice, etc., etc. There's, you know, there's quite a lot of bad blood sort of brewing now between them because of this, which is probably more than just for show. You know, there's sort of lots of little threats being made as well, which, all being well, if all goes to script, adds spice to the fire. Well, for when they do eventually, if and when they do eventually meet. So the situation now is that Anthony Joshua is going to be fighting Alexander Usyk on the 25th of September at Tottenham Hotspur's football ground. And Tyson Fury is going to be fighting Deontay Wilder for the third time. And that's going to be now, it's going to be on Saturday the 18th of October at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It was originally scheduled for earlier, but unfortunately Tyson Fury, as you probably know, contracted coronavirus, you know, another victim of this awful, dreadful disease that's taken over the world, unfortunately. So Fury, Wilder, 3, everything to fight for here, isn't there? We all know that at the beginning, the first fight they had was a draw officially. Most people would agree that, in fact, Fury controversial me saying this, but Fury should have got the decision on the first fight. But he didn't. It was deemed a draw. They had the second fight, and Fury pretty much gave Wilder a lesson in the art of boxing, and was a convincing winner. So that sets it up rather nicely for their third fight. Wilder, from what I can gather, appears to be training much harder this time, appears to be very hungry for this, as he would be. I'm going to have to question his ability. He is, in my book, a one-dimensional fighter who relies on his huge knockout punch. And he's going to be, for the third time, coming up against a pugilist, somebody who's skilled in the art of boxing on the defense, jab and move. And we all know that although Wilder can deliver a knockout punch, we all know that Fury can take a knockout punch seemingly out cold, and within the 10 count, get up and carry on fighting to the point where at the end of that fight, he was, in control of the fight. So that's going to be for if he wins that, and if Joshua wins against Usyk, that's going to be setting up then for a unification fight somewhere down the line for Joshua and Fury. It's been very frustrating, I've got to say. I don't know what my thoughts are on it. Initially, I was sort of with Joshua, because I felt that Fury could have made a substantial offer to Wilder to get him to step aside. I know Wilder said there's no amount of money he would have accepted, but money talks, and if that amount had been big enough, he probably would have stepped aside with the option to fight the winner out of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. That would have been set up quite nicely, as far as I'm concerned. Whether Fury really would have wanted to have lost a big chunk out of his purse to do that is another story, and I suspect that he wasn't prepared to do that. He saw the pound signs or the dollar signs, as they will be in Las Vegas, and so whatever the reason, it didn't happen. So we're set up. So Joshua versus Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk is not going to be an easy fight for Anthony Joshua. What do we know about Anthony Joshua? We know he's extremely strong. We know he's got a great, if he catches you, if he hits you, you're going to go. We also know he can be put down. He can be beat, as he has already been beaten. And by Andy Ruiz. And obviously he righted the wrong, if you like, in the return fight with that, where, similar to Fury, he gave Ruiz a boxing lesson. It was almost the perfect fight for Anthony Joshua on the rematch. Usyk is a different story. Is it Usyk or Usyk? However you want to pronounce it. He's a different story for me. He's moving up a weight division from cruiserweight, where he is the undisputed world champion, and he's now moving up to heavyweight to fight Joshua. And I don't think this is going to be as straightforward as a lot of people are thinking. yeah, Anthony Joshua's going to have the height and the weight advantage, and he's going to be stronger. For me, and I've said it before, I think Anthony Joshua is also slightly one-dimensional when he fights. He's got that very British stance, upright, jab, 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 hook, jab, 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 hook, jab, 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 hook. I get a feeling that Usyk could be just a little bit too ring clever for Joshua. I hope I'm wrong, because I really want to see Joshua Fury, and I'm sure you guys really want to see Joshua Fury. But it's by no means is this cut and dry. I wouldn't be surprised to see Anthony Joshua in trouble at some point during that fight. I believe he may get frustrated and tired. They say that when you can't hit your target and you're throwing punches, takes more out of you than when you're hitting them. Swinging into air, and I think he may be doing a lot of that in the fight against Usyk. I think Usyk will cover up well. And I think he's going to move. I think he's going to have more movement than Joshua realises. So that's going to be an interesting one. 25th of September at the Tottenham Hotspur, for the rest of you outside the UK, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club's stadium. That's going to be an interesting one. That's one I'm going to be looking out for. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. How do I think that's going to go? Now, this is an interesting one. I think when he caught Fury the first time around and put him onto the canvas, and for all intents and purposes, Fury looked as if he was out cold, and he got up. I don't think Wilder will make, if he gets in that position again, I don't think Wilder will make that same mistake twice. I think if he puts him down and he gets up, I think Wilder this time around will know he's got to be all over him. He's got to go straight in, swinging the only weapon that he's got, which is the big punch, and try, while Fury's head is still hazy, go in for the kill. He didn't do that last time, but he's got to do it this time. If he does that, he's got the fighter. He's got the, we all know, don't we, that in the heavyweight division in particular, one punch can change and win a fight, no matter how far ahead your opponent might be. You hit him with that punch and it can be good night nurse. So Wilder, make no mistake about it, it's a very dangerous opponent for Tyson Fury on the 8th of October. On the other hand, Fury will know that by boxing clever and using all of his skills, and some of them are quite irregular. He's very jerky with the head and sort of snatches. You don't know what's coming. It's quite awkward to watch sometimes. But I think if he does that, if he adopts that style, the same way he did against Klitschko, I think he can, providing he can protect his chin and his temple, he can comfortably deal with Deontay Wilder. So I'm going to make prediction on both of these fights. I'm going to say Anthony Joshua to beat Usyk on points. It's going to go the distance. There's going to be moments, very uncomfortable moments for Anthony Joshua, but eventually his size and weight will catch up with Usyk, and I think the latter 4 or 5 rounds will be enough. Usyk will tire, under the you know the leaning on and the holding on possibly, and he will weaken, and it will be enough for Joshua to dominate. I don't think he'll stop Usyk. I may be wrong, obviously, but I think it's going to go the distance, and it's going to be a narrow points victory for Anthony Joshua. For Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, I'm going to go with Tyson Fury to stop Deontay Wilder in the latter rounds. I think Wilder will run out of ideas once he realises he can't, he'll be trying so hard to get that big punch away. They all now know something that obviously we don't. Unless he's been working 10 hours a day in the ring, learning refining his boxing skills and learning to jab and move and get the feet position right, and not to plant his feet, and to bob and weave and slip punches and counter punch and to jab. Unless he's learned all those lessons and learned how to do them and refine them, I think he's going to find himself on the receiving end of another beating, personally. So that will set up very nicely Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, for, I don't know when it will be, sometime next year in the summer, something like that, I'm guessing. So that's it. I'm not going to talk about any other fights. There's lots and lots of fights that are out there at the moment. I'm going to take some time and do some reading and do some studying on all the fights that are out there. And I'm going to do some separate videos. I hope you like them. I really, really appreciate all you guys that do listen to my videos and that do comment and do subscribe. And as I said, I'm sorry I hadn't done one for so long. So please like this video, please subscribe, leave a comment below. Actually, here we go. In the comments below, I'd like to know your thoughts. Who do you think is going to win out of Joshua and Usyk? How do you think it's going to go? Who do you think is going to win out of Fury and Wilder? And how do you think that's going to go? And if and when that happens, who do you think will win out of Joshua and Fury? That's an interesting one. Enjoy, folks. Thank you for listening. Take care. Stay safe, everybody. This is Ray from Split Decision Boxing, signing off.